From the very heart of Ramayana is a tale about a moment when the fate of a divine prince and his entire army rested on the shoulders of a single hero. It's about a desperate hour, a race against time, and an act of raw power that would echo for eternity. This is a story of how Hanuman, in a show of ultimate devotion, lifted an entire mountain for Bhagavan Ram. Namaste and welcome to Chaturya, the fourth state. I'm your host, K. Kumar, best-selling author of 9 books including Daiva, Naaga, India's Most Haunted, and Dakini. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so that you get all the notifications. Your support encourages me to make more content from our fantastic Purans and folktales. On the battlefield of Lanka, a terrible quiet had fallen. The war had stopped. The air, which was usually filled with the sounds of battle, was now heavy with despair. Lakshmana, Bhagavan Ram's beloved brother, lay motionless on the ground. He had been struck by a celestial weapon, the Brahmastra, fired by Indrajit, who was Ravan's son. Lakshmana was on the brink of death, and as his life faded, so did the hope of his army. The only cure was a life-restoring herb that grew on a distant mountain in the Himalayas. With the sun about to rise, a deadline that would seal their doom, one hero had to do the impossible to turn the tide of the entire war. The scene on the battlefield that night was one of pure devastation. According to Valmiki's Ramayan, this wasn't just the fall of a single warrior, it was the collapse of the entire Vanar army. Countless brave warriors lay scattered across the ground, unconscious and defeated. Even the greatest heroes, Sugriv, Nila, and Angad, all had been struck down. Bhagavan Ram himself, though not incapacitated, was overcome with grief, helplessness, seeing his brother and his entire army in such a bad state. In all that despair, only 2 figures still stood: Hanuman, the son of Vayu, the wind god, and Vibhishan, the righteous brother of the demon king Ravan. With flaming torches in hand, they moved through the carnage, their hearts aching at the sight of their fallen friends. They were searching for one voice of wisdom that they hoped had survived. Jambavan, the ancient and wise king of the bears. They found him, his whole body broken but his spirit still there. Vibhishan knelt beside him, his voice trembling. "O great hero, are you still alive?" Jambavan's voice was just a whisper. He couldn't see properly, but he recognized the voice. He rasped, "Tell me, does Hanuman live? Does the son of the great Vayu, the wind god, Pavanputra Hanuman, still breathe?" Vibhishan was shocked. He asked, "O noble one, why don't you inquire about Ram or Lakshman or your own king Sugriv? Why do you ask only for Hanuman?" The old bear, Jambavan, gathered his remaining strength, his words suddenly urgent and clear. "If Hanuman is alive, then this army is not destroyed. If Hanuman lives, we have not lost. He alone has the strength to save us all. So if Hanuman lives, hope lives." Just then, Hanuman himself stepped out of the shadows and respectfully touched the old bear Jambavan's feet. At his touch, a surge of life seemed to flow through Jambavan. He looked at the son of the wind and with a new strength gave him the quest that would change everything forever. "O Hanuman," Jambavan declared, "the life of the prince and the whole army are in your hands. You must fly to the Himalayas. There, between the peaks of Kailash and Rishabha, you will find a glowing mountain of medicinal herbs known as Dronagiri. On that peak grows many life-restoring herbs, and we need 4 of them, each with extraordinary powers. First, Sanjeevani, the herb capable of restoring the dead to life itself. Second, Vishalyakarani, which could extract weapons from the body and heal all the wounds inflicted by them. Third, Suvarnakarani, which restores the body to its original complexion and vitality. And fourth, Sandhani, the great herb capable of joining severed limbs and fractured bones. You must bring it here before the sun rises. Do not delay." The weight of Jambavan's words didn't crush Hanuman. It ignited him. A divine power, a divine determination surged through his body, and he began to grow a colossal size, a mountain-like figure. He was the son of the wind god, and now he would become as unstoppable as the wind itself. With a roar that shook Lanka, he bent his knees and leaped forward. Hanuman shot through the sky like a golden comet, moving faster than thought. He crossed the vast ocean in an instant and soared over the sleeping lands of India. His mind was focused on a single goal: the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas. Following Jambavan's directions, he found the sacred range, the mountain, and there it was, Dronagiri. the mountain of herbs. It was an unbelievable sight, a peak that glowed with a soft divine light. The very air hummed with healing energy. Hanuman landed gently, his heart pounding against the clock. He started searching for the specific herb Jambavan had described, but he couldn't find it. In the sea of glowing plants, he couldn't identify the herbs that he needed. A wave of frustration and righteous anger washed over Hanuman. He had crossed an entire continent to save his Bhagavan's brother and his army, and the time was running out. Lakshmana's life was fading with every passing moment. There was no more time to search. Hanuman's eyes blazed with a fearsome light, and his voice boomed across the peaks. He declared, "If I cannot find the herbs that I need, then I will take all of you with me." And in that moment of crisis, Hanuman made a decision born of pure devotion. He planted his feet into the ground, his body swelling again to a size that dwarfed the mountain itself. He reached down and gripped the very base of the peak. Digging his fingers deep into the earth, he wrapped his arms around the colossal structure that was a mountain, and with a cry that seemed to split the heavens, he pulled. Hanuman tore the entire peak of Dronagiri from its foundation and lifted it into the air. It was a sight for the ages, a golden hero flying across the sky, holding an entire mountain that glowed with divine light. Even the gods peered down from the heavens, astonished at this incredible display of power and love. Back in Lanka, the army waited. As the sky began to lighten in the east, the despair grew. Hanuman had to arrive before sunrise, or Lakshman would die. But then, a light appeared in the sky. A moving star grew larger. It looked like a comet, and it was getting brighter and closer. It was Hanuman, and he was carrying a mountain in his hand. Hope was reborn. Hanuman landed gently, placing the mountain down as if it were just a small stone. Immediately, the potent, healing scent of the herbs filled the air. That aroma alone was enough. It washed over the battlefield like a life-giving tide. Lakshman, who was moments away from death, stirred and rose. His wounds instantly vanished as the herbs were applied on them. Bhagwan Ram embraced him, tears of relief in his eyes, and across the field, the other fallen Vanara heroes revived. Their injuries healed and their strength returned. The army that had been defeated temporarily was now alive and roaring for victory. Bhagwan Ram looked at Hanuman, his eyes overflowing with a gratitude that words could never express. He embraced his humble devotee, a gesture that showed all the love and awe in his heart. The single act didn't just save lives. It turned the certainty of defeat into the promise of victory. Ever bound by duty, Hanuman then lifted the mountain once more, flew back to the Himalayas, and returned the peak to its rightful place before coming back to join the battle. This incredible story from the Ramayana is more than just a tale of brute strength. It's the ultimate lesson in devotion. When faced with an impossible task and a moment of crisis, Hanuman didn't despair. He acted with a conviction so powerful it could literally move a mountain. He actually lifted it and then took it back. His strength came not just from his body, but from the depth of his love for Bhagwan Ram. But did you know that the pieces of that mountain, which Hanuman had lifted, had fell down in Lanka? And even to this date, there may be hills with vivid ecosystems in the island nation. In fact, science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke had a vivid theory about one of those hills in Sri Lanka. Have you heard about it? Write in the comments, and if you want to know about it, then like this video and subscribe to my channel and wait for the next episode on Chaturya, the fourth state. May Bhagwan Ram and Hanuman be with you.